Up next, Authentically Detroit welcomes guest co-host Chase Cantrell. But first, this week's hot takes from CNN Health and WXYZ. How a pink tax on women can hurt their health, especially for breast cancer patients. And Shades of Pink Foundation is diving headfirst into Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Keep it locked. Authentically Detroit starts after these messages.
Have you always dreamed of being on the airwaves? Well, the Detroit Eastside Engaged Podcast Network, or DEEP for short, is here to make that dream a reality. Located inside the Stoudemire, the DEEP Network offers studio space and production staff to help get your podcast idea off the ground. Doesn't take a whole lot of work to get started. Just visit the Authentically Detroit page at ecn-detroit.org or call Sarah at 313-948-0344.
Hey, y'all, it's Orlando. We just want to let you know that the views and opinions expressed during this podcast episode are those of the co-hosts and guests and not their sponsoring institutions. Now, let's start the show. Hello, Detroit and the world. Welcome to another episode of Authentically Detroit, broadcasting live from Detroit's East Side at the Stoudemire inside of Eastside Community Network. I'm Orlando Bailey.
And I'm Chase Cantrell.
Thank you for listening in and supporting our efforts to build a platform of authentic voices for real people in the city of Detroit. We want you to like, rate, and subscribe to our podcast on all platforms. Donna is in Baltimore this week, so we decided to welcome back guest co-host Chase Cantrell. We will also have Motor City Match winner and founder of Ari Party Hair, Ari Jones, and co-president of Shades of Pink Foundation, Jenna Wright Greenman, here with us. Welcome to Authentically Detroit, everybody. We're really happy to have you. Chase Cantrell.
What's up?
How have you been?
I have been great. It is good to be back.
It's good to be back.
Detroit.
Yeah,
Yes.
We're happy to have you back.
And we're at ECN.
We are at ECN inside of the Stoudemire.
Yes.
That's right.
Love to be here.
Where it all began, where it all started. It's been a while since you've been with us. What's going on in your life?
What's going on in my life? So we will talk more about it in 2 weeks when I'm on. But beyond that,
Oh, he's going to be a guest.
I'm going to be a guest in 2 weeks.
Because,
yes.
Chase is like, I'm always hosting, but y'all don't see enough value to have me as a guest.
That's not the context.
Oh, okay.
I will be back. But just launching new programs, working at building community value, enjoying life.
Enjoying life.
Yep.
I love it. Yeah. I'm happy to have you. Really, really glad to see you. And you ready to get into some hot takes?
Let's do it.
You got some opinions? All right. This week's it's time for hot takes, where we run down some of the week's top headlines in the city of Detroit. But before we get into hot takes, it's a big day for Outlier Media today.
It is.
Because our former managing editor for 3 years, Dr. Aaron Perry, has ascended into the role of editor-in-chief.
That's huge.
Making Outlier Media one of the only organizations within the news ecosystem in the city of Detroit with a black man, myself,
that? Okay.
That's me, I'm the black man, and a black woman who are a son and daughter of the city of Detroit at the helm.
It is amazing news, and I'm so glad to see it.
Monumental, and we are so excited about it. And I want to say congratulations to my colleague and my partner, Dr. Aaron Perry. But the final thing that I will say about that before we get into the real hot take is that this congratulations is not just a congratulations to Aaron Perry. It is an ode and honor to the leadership of Sarah Alvarez and Candace Fortman.
Yes.
Because they built something that they knew they would have to give away at one point. And they have done an amazing job doing that. It's hard for people to let go.
It is. When you start something, you have to be a steward. You can't just hold on to it for 20 years.
And I am a big believer in building and investing in the bench and recognizing talent and investing in that. Sarah and Candace are cerebral with spotting talent, nabbing them up and investing in them, and then, giving your investment room to shine. So shout out to both of them.
How big is the newsroom now?
Oh gosh, we're up 17.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Y'all keep
a
growing.
staff of 17. We keep growing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's make sure the foundation support keeps growing too. Yeah. That's
And anybody with money out there, they are a nonprofit.
We are a nonprofit newsroom, and we are the pioneer of the SMS texting service where residents can text into us and get their critical information needs met instantaneous, because that's what text message is. It's instant messaging.
I need to give my mom that text number.
Yeah. Lighten your load.
Make it a mental note.
Lighten your load, Chase Cantrell. Okay, for real. Hot takes. How a pink tax on women can hurt their health, especially for breast cancer patients. 2 new reports show that women are paying what's become known as a kind of pink tax for their health care. They are spending more out of pocket than men, and when it comes to breast cancer, the extra expenses are causing such a significant burden that it may be costing them their health. In the United States, women who have health insurance through their jobs pay about $15.4 billion more in out-of-pocket healthcare costs than men with similar insurance, not including premium costs, according to a new report from the financial services firm Deloitte. While women pay about the same premiums as men, the actuarial value of their coverage is about $1.34 billion, less, according to the analysis, which looked at more than 16 million people with employer-sponsored health insurance between 2017 and 2022. While the report finds that women go to the doctor and use their benefits more than men do, with women having 10% more health expenditures, their out-of-pocket expenses are still 18% higher, even after removing the high costs of maternity care. Wow. And it is 20% higher with maternity costs. That's insane. Insurance companies seem to be covering a smaller portion of services for women compared to men. Breast cancer screenings, for example, can often cost more than many cancer screenings. A separate report published Monday by the Susan G. Komen organization finds the high cost of breast cancer treatment is a significant burden for patients, so much so that it may actually be hurting the success of their treatment. Komen, a nonprofit that helps fight breast cancer, has a program that provides financial assistance to qualified breast cancer patients who are having trouble keeping the lights on due to the high cost of their treatment. The program provided nearly $9.1 million in grants to nearly 16,000 patients from April 2022 through March of this year. To understand who it was helping, Komen took a closer look at what people use the money for. Housing, transportation to treatment, and utility bills were the biggest financial stressors, as well as paying for food and medicine. In addition to worrying about their treatment, the report noted that up to 73% of adult cancer survivors also worry about paying for medical costs. Chase Cantrell, what say you?
So this is just one example of how systems are not built for everyone, right? When I was in grad school, I was surrounded by a lot of med students, and the women who were going through those programs were some of the first to say they were learning how inequitable the system was in real time as they were serving patients and learning how the system worked. And as they've ascended into actually being physicians, I know a lot of them that are, trying to fight against some of the structures that are inequitable. But this is not surprising to me. But women are 50% of our population. It has vast implications for all the people in our lives. If you have a mother, if you have a sister, an aunt, a daughter, a niece, these are the kinds of things that they have to go through. And we as men don't often recognize the kinds of burdens that they carry.
Do we not recognize it, or do we not care?
Some of us don't recognize, and some of us don't care. But it's a lot of people who just don't recognize. These kinds of reports are significant to shed light on these inequities. But a lot of folks aren't asking the women in their lives, how's your health? Right? What kind of system are you interacting with when you go to the doctor? We're not even thinking about it in that way. And again, this shows that women are using using the ecosystem in ways that are more than men. We know that men don't go to the doctor enough. We already know that. Like,
especially black men.
Especially black men. I've been trying to get my dad to get a physical all year.
Oh,
so,
gosh.
like, listen.
Give him the textile liar number 2.
Right. But no, like, we need to be asking women in our lives more about how they are experiencing the health system and what we can do to fight for a more equitable system.
Yeah, I do think I also think that it is a referendum on the systems that we have in place and just how inequity is baked into a lot of these systems. And I not only just the medical system, right? But
this is just one example.
The insurance.
Yes.
The insurance system, and we can go back to the industry of insurance, the roots of the industry of insurance, and we know that it was built during the slave trade and insuring property, insuring bodies, and all, And so, just the roots of it are just really intermingled with systems that have been harmful for people, especially women, for a long time. And so, the fact that women who are employed, because this is a sampling of women who are employed, still have, without the maternity costs, higher out-of-pocket expenses. That's crazy. That's just nuts to me. We should be saying something. Men, I think it is on us to sit and listen and empathize and then get to work.
That's right.
Not like, oh, that must be really bad for you. No, like really, I often say this about, these conversations that we're always having about equity and conversations we're always having about diversity and race. White people, get your people. We tell white people to get your people. It's more labor on me to always have to step into the role of teacher, right? And trying to figure out that, white people, you can do some of this too. Men, we can do this.
We can.
We can do this. Did you have something you wanted to add, Jenna?
All of your comments I completely agree with, and it's so refreshing to hear both of you, as men recognize this just as you're reporting it. I think it's so vital that people understand and realize exactly what you reported, that, women have so much more burden many times with not only the healthcare expenses, and that's kind of where why I'm here and why I'm thankful I'm here talking to all of you, in terms of trying to assist with that, because it first takes recognition, I think, by, as both of you were talking about, whether it's men, whether it's you're related to family members, your mother, your sisters, a partner, an aunt, whomever in your community, and recognizing that, women, whether they've got a good job, it doesn't matter what kind of walk of life they may come from, if they're going through situations that require not only in the healthcare system, but are going to require that much more in terms of out-of-pocket expenses, it takes a village, right?
Yeah.
To have that knowledge base, to start educating other people, but then to kind of step up and do what you can do.
Yeah. Well, I want us to talk about the Shades of Pink Foundation, and I want to read a little bit about you guys and then get into the conversation. Shades of Pink Foundation is diving headfirst into Breast Cancer Awareness Month this October. We're almost through October, guys. Launching a series of impactful fundraising initiatives. The foundation plans to partner with more than 75 third-party groups, including local businesses, municipalities, schools, and organizations, to support its mission of reducing financial stress for those undergoing breast cancer treatment in Southeast Michigan. SOPF is also launching a Think Pink t-shirt campaign during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, with a portion of every sale supporting breast cancer patients in need across Southeast Michigan. Shades of Pink Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit charitable corporation. Its mission is to reduce financial stress for those undergoing breast cancer treatment in Southeast Michigan by providing prompt funding for everyday living expenses. The organization has provided $2.5 million of financial support to help cover the costs of everyday living expenses to more than 1,000 individuals and their families since its founding in 2005. Jenna, you are doing the Lord's work. You understand me?
I'm trying to get to heaven. That's what we're all trying to do.
So really glad that the listeners were able to hear a little bit about Shades of Pink Foundation. Tell us what this looks like in practice.
Yeah. Thanks again for having me and being able to talk about this organization. I'm really invested and excited about it. I think kind of segueing from what we were all talking about, right, in terms of women in our lives, whether you're male, female, or otherwise, and we all know women in our lives that probably have been affected by breast cancer, right? Actually, I was astounded at the statistic just for here in Michigan. 1 out of 8 women in Michigan will be diagnosed with breast cancer if they haven't already in any given calendar year. That's a lot. That's a lot. Not to mention...
And I can count at least 5 on my hand right now who have gone through it or who are still contending with it right now, of women that I know personally.
Yeah. And, I want to go back to something you brought up earlier before I kind of get into why I do what I do and why I'm passionate about this particular organization. I think you brought up a really good point. The fact is right, for all these years, whether we're all the same age, a little bit different in age, what have you, what have we grown up really around us, right? No matter where you come from, what community. We've seen October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the Carmanos, fabulous organization. We've heard about the runs, the walks, the pink ribbons, right? All of us could say that, regardless of having been involved in anything. That's a great thing. But the point is like you said before, people just kind of look at it and say, okay, I know what that's all about. But then don't think, okay, does this affect somebody maybe close to me? Or even if it doesn't, people that we can reach out and really help, right? So what Shades of Pink Foundation does, as you mentioned, was started going to be 20 years ago in 2025, which I'm really excited as well that you had me on to talk about it because our 20th anniversary is next year and our goal is to raise $1 million in the year. Now, that's not much. Come on. We can do that, right?
Yeah.
We can,
Absolutely.
and really what our organization does is similar to the other organization that you mentioned, I think, is it Coleman?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we always say our organization is great, especially because we call these other organizations that have very similar functions and purposes, as partners in the journey, right? Like I said, it takes a village, and if you got another organization that's doing something similar, have at it, fabulous. The more, the merrier, right? But with Shades of Pink, one of the things that we do is try to raise funds. Obviously, as a nonprofit, we try to raise funds and work directly with any of the patient outreach coordinators, social workers at these various hospitals, sometimes, frankly, even community centers, right, where we get women that come in that maybe they don't have that health insurance, but they have gone to an appointment, they felt a lump or a mass, maybe they've gotten a diagnosis, but they don't know where to go from there. And in terms of what to do. So take away even the whole insurance aspect of it. A lot of times they don't know where to go from there and how they're going to get there and how they're going to get help to try to survive. And so what the organization does is we try to work with the community, individuals that we partner with. We try to get sponsorships and get people to donate money, volunteer, have a like we said, a Pink Out Friday, good excuse to have a house party and have people throw money in a fishbowl, in my opinion, and it goes to a good cause. And what we do is we then get those names of those individuals in our community that are willing to share their information. Me, Jenna, I never get to know. For example, if you had 5 females here that came in and said, I need help because I can't keep my lights on, I can't pay for an Uber to go back and forth twice a week for chemo, right? And these are people even, like I said, all walks of life. They could be employed and have a good job, but as we're talking about, the insurance expenses like that are affiliated with it, many people don't even think about that, right? Like, hey, my car broke down, now I got to take an Uber because I got to get the chemo or radiation. So what we try to do is we work with those patient coordinators or social workers or community outreach individuals that have that pipeline of these women that have that need. And then we try to literally on a weekly and monthly basis, we try to allocate that money. So any money we raise and that's brought in, it's going right back out. And what a good feeling that is, right? Because it's getting used and it's getting used wisely and it's helping the cause for these women to get their care and treatment that they so desperately need.
Are there any other guidelines for being able to participate in a program like this other than having breast cancer?
Yeah, great question. Not really any other guidelines per se. So let's say on the patient side of the fence, right? It's a matter of, if in fact somebody has a need, or they know a family member has a need, maybe the individual themselves, lots of, right? Tons of emotional turmoil and physical and otherwise that go into when you get a diagnosis or you're going to be facing treatment and so forth. And so maybe that individual is just way too overwhelmed to do anything about it or to reach out. But if somebody, yourself, a family member or a friend of a family member that may have a potential need, you may not be certain of it, but you know of a potential need, you can reach out directly to Shades of Pink Foundation. Shadesofpinkfoundation.org is the easiest way. On that website, it's got the phone number to our executive administrator, Nina Gugasian, who's amazing and immediately can put people, even if it's a friend of a friend of a friend or a family member, to try to see, can we figure out if that individual has needs? And again, I want to be real clear, needs is relative, right? I think a lot of people think, this has been my experience thus far. I think a lot of individuals think, as you were talking about before, they could be employed and have health insurance, and they think, well, geez, I'm not going to qualify though, but I know this treatment, the whatever it may be, these out-of-pocket expenses that you were discussing that are 18% higher, I'm not going to qualify. No, not the case at all. It's a matter of just getting your name in there to say, I think I'm going to have a need because I'm going to have to allocate some of that monthly, income that I have really to these expenses. And now I'm going to be tight on mortgage or whatever it may be. So that's the first thing. No real guidelines per se. Okay. So employed, unemployed, depending on your need, people just got to reach out. And even if you're a friend or a family member, you got to have them reach out. Shadesofpinkfoundation.org. Okay. On the other side of the coin, in terms of how can you get involved, right? As you said, it's a matter of not just, being empathetic and being made aware, but can you actually do something? Heck yeah. The issue is, same thing, go to the website. You'll find a lot of resources there. And I mean, we've had a ton of people that just say, can we wear, even at our own organization, you wear jeans every Friday. And if we allow you to wear jeans, if it's business, attire, for example, we'll donate $5, even $1, per person for the month of October or all of the fall or something like that. There's so many different ways that individuals can get involved. It doesn't take, writing $1 million check that would take it, but you get my point. So
we will always take it.
Any of us will take it. Right?
How's the campaign going? The Think Pink T-shirt campaign.
Yeah,
how's it going?
Thanks for asking. It's going really great. Same website. You can go on there and find the link to get the shirts. Really cool T-shirts for men or for women. They're all different, types.
Because a very small percentage of breast cancer patients are men. It's
absolutely.
like what? Not even 2%, 1%?
Yeah, I think it's less than 2%. Yeah. And actually, I was going to bring that up, so I'm glad you touched on that to remind me. Yeah, absolutely. Are there men that have breast cancer? Absolutely. And could they also be included in this? Absolutely. Therein again lies the issue. It's a matter of, right, like anything, like the homeless or food insecure situations that we all are always talking about. It's not just women; it can be men as well. And we've got to take away that stigma and shame of it doesn't matter if I have breast cancer and I'm of the male population. Reach out if you have a need. We're there to help. We're there to help everybody.
Yeah, and so for the 20th anniversary, you guys are aiming to raise $1 million. Have you already started? Okay.
Yeah, we have. We've already
right.
started. Our event that kind of kicks off things usually is at the beginning of October to start Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Right, while everybody's thinking about it.
That's right. And so we just had our annual comedy event. It was held in Birmingham. And that specifically, it's for any and all comers that want to come. But it's actually to thank all of those social workers, community outreach people, et cetera, that really are our liaisons, right? They're the link that might have to the population. Yeah. That's right. And to really thank them and say, thanks for all you do, because but for you being the connection or the link, we wouldn't have access to the people that really have a need, because they might not, have the wherewithal or otherwise to reach out to us. So we did our comedy night. It was fabulous. It was sold out, and we raised some good money then. And then throughout the month of October, we have already done a lot of different events, a lot of different local stores, businesses, organizations, they usually will partner up. Imagine Theaters did pink popcorn,
Nice.
that you could buy, and they donate money. So cool things like that. But my goal, obviously, and I'm very thankful that you had me here, is to get the word out, as you said, that it's not just a month thing. It's really a year-long
People
thing.
contend with this. A good friend of Chase, me and Chase, our friend Claire Nelson, is, going through this right now to be completely breast cancer free.
Yeah.
And she's finally back to work and, all of that. But watching my friend go through multiple surgeries, 1,001 doctor's appointments, I can imagine how expensive these things can be and how it's an impediment for you to be able to cover other costs in your life. Can you talk about sort of helping people get rid of like the stigma and shame around not being able to afford your life when you got breast cancer?
Yeah. Great point. And it's exactly what we're doing here today, which again, I keep saying thank you, because this is how, through groups like you and voices in particular, like both of you, that's how we get that word out, right? Is hopefully the community and people are listening, and maybe they don't, get a flyer or a pamphlet or look in the newspaper or go online, but they hear you and they respect your voices, they respect your input and your insight, and they hear about the fact that, there's no shame. Right? There's no shame in breast cancer, male or female. There's no shame in, like I said, it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. A need is a need, and you're likely going to have a need as you're going through breast cancer and the entire journey and course. And as you probably know from your own friend, as you mentioned, it's a long course.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It doesn't matter what stage, even if it's caught early, it doesn't matter, and whether you have to have surgery or non-surgery, it's a long course to try to go through and then say, okay, I'm still going to doctor's appointments, or I'm still having scans, every so many months, et cetera. And just, simple things, like I said, it's not just paying the bills at home, but for your friend, for example, just, use by way of example, you probably don't know, all of the other things. Maybe it's, as silly as it sounds, supplements for hair, after if she has had to have chemo, and just trying to get back to feeling normal. And it's little things like that now become extra expenses that are not silly. It's part and parcel of the journey, right? Yeah. And so, it's really important, I think, for these women and men that are affected by breast cancer to know this, where, number one, if they don't have insurance and they're affiliated at all or can find, a community outreach center, talk to those individuals. They'll put you in touch with somebody, even if it's our organization directly, and maybe they can help as it relates to care issues and treatment issues, directing them. But more importantly, people that may have insurance, whatever type, whatever kind, and they've been diagnosed and they're starting to go through the process or the journey of care and treatment, they're called nurse navigators. I never knew what that was until my mom had cancer. I always think of social workers, but it's kind of an outreach of that. And they're really great because they're kind of the liaison, like we said, the connection that can say, that you don't have to, that the individual doesn't have to necessarily volunteer because they might feel a stigma attached to that or a little bit of shame. They shouldn't, but it's human nature. But the social workers or the community outreach individuals that we work with are the ones that can say, how are you doing? How are you doing generally, right? Emotionally, physically, but how are you doing with your needs? Are your needs being met? No shame in it. And they literally have been taught and educated to have that conversation so that it makes it easier, I think, for individuals to open up about if they have a need and then get them in contact with us.
So beyond the nurse navigators, are there also support groups that people can participate in to find support in this?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So I know not only with our organization, we have our patient, contact representatives that are part, of our board and part of our organization that can help, and they can definitely direct people to the support groups. But I will say, just from my general knowledge, as I said, our partners in breast cancer, if you will, in that journey, it could be through Carmanos, it could be through all of the different organizations. If you just Google breast cancer organizations in Michigan, especially right now in mid-October, you're going to have a ton pop up, right? pretty much any of those will have somebody that is a point person that can direct individuals to support groups, literally, as the term implies, whether it's just, a meeting group that meets to discuss that, oh yeah, everybody else has the same needs. Believe it or not, mine may be different than yours, but it's still a need. So they can direct them to that. As I said, shadesofpinkfoundation.org, our website, is a great resource to look for support groups and just support in general to try to get that need.
All right, Jenna, thank you so much for joining us. We will be right back.
Founded in 2021, the Stoudemire is a membership-based community recreation and wellness center centrally located on the east side of Detroit. Membership in the Stoudemire is available on a sliding scale for up to $20 per year or 20 hours of volunteer time. The Stoudemire offers art, dance, and fitness classes, community meetings and events, resource fairs, pop-up events, the Neighborhood Tech Hub, and more. Members who are residents of the east side have access to exclusive services in the Wellness Network. Join today and live well, play well, be well. Visit ecndetroit.org.
All right, welcome back to Authentically Detroit, everyone. Sitting next to our guest co-host, Chase Cantrell. You know what, Chase Cantrell? I'm always interested in your hot political take. And, it's an election year here in the city of Detroit in 2025. It will also be an election year for the city of Detroit. We are voting for president this year. We're voting for school board.
I actually voted early today.
You voted today?
I did. At Northwest Activity Center.
Oh, that's cool. Did you get your passive aggressive sticker from the city?
They changed it though.
It looks different?
It looks different this year.
Okay. But it's not I voted, did you?
No.
They're not shaming people no more?
I am democracy in the D. I voted early.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, so that's the voted early sticker.
Yes.
That's great. You feel good about it?
I feel good.
How come you aren't wearing it?
There was a outfit change.
Oh, there was an outfit change. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So, Michigan is the swing state. Mm-hmm. And so what that means is we are seeing a lot of the candidates, right?
Yes.
We're seeing Vice President Harris and her running mate, Governor Walz. We're also seeing former President Donald Trump here.
Who that?
We're seeing him here an awful lot. How do you feel about being in a swing state? Nolan Finley wrote a op-ed that said, we want them to go or something like that. They need to stop coming here. I know, it's Nolan Finley.
It's Nolan Finley.
Yeah.
But no, I'm glad they are coming. And I'm glad that they're actually doing substantive meetings where we get to ask them questions. They had a black male forum last week. And some of the questions,
were you there?
I was not there. I was not invited. That's all right, though.
That's the Charlemagne interview.
Charlemagne God. Yeah.
Okay. So Zeke was there from New Era Detroit.
Zeke was there.
Pastor Ken Locke. Eric Thomas, who's a friend of this show.
Shout out to Eric.
Yeah.
Okay. And they posed really good questions.
I was in Mexico, so I didn't
relaxing.
I'm sorry. I was at a conference. I wasn't really relaxing. Uh-huh. I did.
I saw some ocean shots, some beach shots.
I stuck out like less than twice. Okay, but they asked substantive questions of the vice president.
Of the vice president.
And did she answer them?
She answered them in very vice president political way.
Yeah.
But
so that means that she didn't.
Well, no, she did.
Okay.
And I think we're getting closer to more clarity about what a black male agenda would be.
Okay.
So it's not like she avoided the questions. Like she did, talk about them head on. And I think it's up to us to continue pushing her. The more she shows up in Detroit, the more we can push her. That's why I want her to keep coming.
Yeah. All right. Your take on the latest endorsements going to Donald Trump from Tommy Hearns and what's the rapper name in Detroit? What's his name? Trick.
All right. So we need to be clear, and actually my pastor said this Sunday, we need to be clear that there's this narrative about black men, especially moving closer to Trump.
That's not real.
It's not real.
It's not real.
It's fake. It's fake news. It's totally fake news. And we need to remind people.
Do you think the Democrats are buying into that narrative? Because we are seeing, and I saw a clip where Kamala Harris said, "I got to fight for every vote," and I don't disagree with her. I think she does. Yeah. But we are seeing a concerted effort on part of the Democratic Party and power structure toward targeting black men
in particular,
and black men right behind black women are the highest demographic base that vote Democrat.
So they know they can't touch black women, so they're not even trying, right? Black women are in the 90%. Black men are in the 80%.
We're right behind them.
We're right behind them, right? But they do feel like there's a fracture that they can try to pick some folks away. I don't think it's going to work because we continue to show up for Democratic presidential candidates. But I think it's up to shows like this and voices like yours to continue to remind people like that is fake news. Like black men support the vice president.
Yeah, Chirpy and Shorters is also like this isn't real.
It's not real.
This isn't real. Okay, I want to talk about school board.
Yes.
So there are 20-something people running for 3 seats.
I had to text some friends today, like, "Yo, who are you voting for school board?"
Oh, because you didn't know.
Well, I had my short list, and I was like, okay, I was uncertain between two people.
Who are you looking at?
So I was looking at everybody.
Yeah.
Right. So I have worked with Boyd White before. I know him to be a person who is brilliant, of integrity, who believes in the people of the city of Detroit, and who really wants to see an improved education system.
Boyd White works in what capacity?
So he is at Dyke-Magosset.
He's a lawyer.
He's a lawyer.
He's an attorney. Okay.
Yeah, he's an attorney. So very smart dude. So I'm looking. So Boyd. Jeremiah Steen. So
we love Jeremiah Steen here.
Love Jeremiah. Yeah. So
the Steen Foundation.
The Steen Foundation working on behalf of Gen Z.
President's Board. Yep. Skillman Youth Council. Let me get the title.
That's right. That's right. He was the youngest person to ever be on the board of trustees for Skillman. There's someone who's he's older, a little bit older now, so now there's another young person. But just very smart guy. And he's right that we need Gen Z representation in government.
Oh goodness.
Right.
So like never before.
Yep.
Because these young people got something to say.
They have something to
and they have experiences.
It's not just something to say. They have good ideas.
Good ideas. And they want to they are doing.
They are doing.
They are doing. I think about folks like Jeremiah. I think about Angelica Williams. I think about Jerwan Howard. These are Gen Zers that ain't asking for permission
at all.
And I love that.
They shouldn't. They should they should continue doing the work. And what we're seeing with folks like them is that the resources are showing up.
Yeah. Good.
Right? Yeah.
Good. Okay. So we got to do this all over again next year.
We do.
Because the municipal elections are coming.
Yes.
It's going to be less voting. It's
going to be less money.
Right. Yeah. Less text messages asking for money. Mm-hmm. My goodness.
I want to be on a do not text list because it's like, yo, you got my vote. You don't need to keep texting me.
But
the
fundraising professionals will say you ask
on that part too. It's
often.
Just like yeah. I'm signed up monthly to give to you. That's happened for some candidates. It's like stop asking me for money.
Yeah, good. We will be voting for mayor in 2025. We'll also be voting for city council in 2025. And I'm wondering from you, like, what is your temperature on how the race is shaping up? And there have been many rumblings about you entering the race as well.
I don't know about many, but there were rumblings.
So, are you running for mayor, Chase Cantrell?
I am not running for mayor.
You are not running for mayor
in 2025.
In 2025,
to be clear.
Okay,
so just to talk about that a little bit, right? Like, it is a deeply personal sort of decision to run for an office at that level, right? Like, it takes complete dedication to do something like that. Not only the campaign, but to be in that position of authority. So, there were tons of conversations, right? I was meeting with all kinds of people having that conversation and realized that I'm looking to support a candidate, haven't found that candidate yet, but it is not my time this cycle.
So there are some folks who have their hat in the ring, and I'm just, Fred Durhal
was the most recent to announce.
Yes. I don't think Mary Sheffield has announced. I think she's only formed.
That's right. She has formed her candidate committee.
Yeah.
Only 3 people have formed candidate committees. Yeah. Right. So that's not an official announcement.
Right.
Everyone always couches it in
Mary,
So Mary, Fred Durhall, and Santil Jenkins.
Former City Council President Santil Jenkins.
That's right. Yes.
All right.
And current CEO of Thaw.
Of Thaw.
Very important.
Where Christine Beatty works.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So what's that face for?
Hey.
No, I'm happy for Christine.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about, from the current pool of candidates, how you feeling?
Well, what typically happens, if it is true,
Of potential candidates,
right? Potential candidates. What typically happens, if what everyone believes is that Mayor Duggan will not run again, right? That he is looking for a different office. If that is true, when we have these transition periods, there are always 20 plus people who run. Literally, when Coleman A. Young Sr. decided not to run, there was over 20 candidates, and Dennis Archer came out ahead. Same for when Mayor Duggan ran.
Wait, but speaking of Dennis Archer, he has a son of the same name.
A junior. That's true.
A junior. And I'm hearing his name thrown around. What do you think about that? You think it's...
I have heard mixed things about whether he will run or not.
Okay.
So
we don't
see.
know if he'll run. Okay.
He would... If he does, he would be someone that the business community would likely support.
He's a darling of the regional chamber.
Indeed.
But so is Santil Jenkins. I feel like, a Dennis Archer candidacy and a Jenkins candidacy
would be interesting.
But it's also it feels like an establishment. They feel like establishment candidates.
I don't think of Santil as being establishment in the same way as Dennis Archer Jr.
Say more.
So she comes from a social worker background, right? She is leading the kind of organization that is trying to help low-income Detroiters, right? It's a different approach to the business ecosystem in the city of Detroit. Although she's well-respected, her organization has a huge annual budget, right?
She's well-respected, I think, in her work now. Do you think she has to still answer for her...
stepping down?
Her stepping down, her conduct, especially headed into the bankruptcy... The vote, a lot of residents still are miffed about how things went down.
So I'm not sure if it's a lot of residents.
Okay.
So whenever I bring up her name, especially among our generation, right? Like some people don't know that history, or remember. Like I was late 20s, early 30s when all that went down.
But I was here.
I was here too, but I was not necessarily paying attention to that.
Gotcha.
So I have had to go back and actually. Nerd that I am, go through the Free Press archives to go back and see all right, what actually did happen.
And Christine Ferretti, to her credit, wrote a lot about that too. Yeah.
So it's up to you. It's up to podcasts like this and other news sources to ask those questions.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting.
It already is interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Who will Mayor Duggan support? When all this goes down, if he's not running,
because he's not said that he is not running.
Exactly. Yeah. Although there's a new nonprofit that was just formed supporting
his candidacy.
Well, not necessarily not his candidacy, but like putting out information about how good of a mayor he has been according to that nonprofit.
Well, that's what he is. He's a machine.
Yeah.
And he's even beyond a political machine. He's a comms machine. That's why he hires journalists.
That's right.
All the time.
Yeah.
Chief White took a job.
He did.
With the Wayne Integrated Health Network.
This is a trend of everyone is jumping ship. I keep reminding people.
Brad Dick took a job.
Brad Dick just left.
Who was a group executive.
Yes.
He's at Wayne State.
Yep. Donald Rencher went to Hudson
Weber. These are all Duggan insiders.
Department heads.
Group executives.
Yeah, at the top of the top.
Yeah, and the police chief.
Yes.
They're jumping shit.
Which is, to me, an indicator
sign. Okay.
that Duggan will not be mayor.
What do you make of the chief's move? This is probably the most public move on part of anybody in his administration, more than even Brad Dick or Donald Rencher.
I think it makes sense. He had the experience to be able to get this position. It is something that he cares about, like in the mental health space, right? Like I think that knowing that, again, all these...
He's done more on mental health as chief in terms of trying to figure out how to respond, right?
Which is what we need
and we
in
can
the city of Detroit.
critique what they've been doing, but at least he's
having the conversation.
He's doing it.
Yeah. He's having the conversation. He's thinking about it. This makes total sense for him, I think. And again, like many of these department heads will be leaving, so why not why not go to a position that makes sense for you?
I love doing this rapid fire with you. Okay, so what we have not been able to discuss on the podcast or have him on is Arthur Jemison returning to the city of Detroit
so happy.
from Boston to run the housing commission.
The housing commission, the failing housing commission that's been so terrible for so long. Yes, so
and he likes to fix stuff.
He likes to fix stuff, and he actually does it.
He does it.
So,
but we ain't heard from him. He ain't done a single interview. I can't. What's going on? Have you talked to him?
I mean, I've shown up to housing commission meetings, so I mean,
he's there.
He's there. He's present. And to back up for a second, so when he went to HUD first.
To work for the president.
Yes. He was an assistant secretary, something.
Something crazy.
Yeah,
so he was that.
So he was high up.
He was high up.
Yep.
It was like, dang, we know Arthur.
But still very humble, which is,
I could text him right now.
I could text him exactly. He will respond. Exactly.
Yeah.
When he moved over to be the planning director of Boston, this is when things got really interesting because I continued to follow his work while he was there.
Yeah.
And it was a very progressive mayor in Boston. Still is a
What's
very
her
progressive.
name? She was great. Is she still mayor?
She's still mayor.
Okay, good. We'll Google it.
But developers were extremely worried about the things that were being put in place. I say this in this way that there were things that Arthur wanted to do when he was
Michelle Wu.
When he was planning director here that didn't necessarily happen in the city of Detroit. He was able to do those things in Boston. So I'm excited. I'm excited that he's back. I think that he's the right person to help.
Only a crazy man will take that job. Or someone who is very, very capable.
Very capable and cares. So he came. So
he does care.
So I teach at the University of Michigan. And when he was
flex,
I mean, whatever,
professor.
And before he moved to Boston, he was still living in it. He was living in Ann Arbor. And he came to speak to my class. I thought it was going to be via Zoom. He actually came in person. And what he conveyed to my students was why we need people, not only electeds, right? Everybody wants to run for office, but we need people like him who actually believe in government, who will build their careers in government, and who actually care about doing the work. The kids, they're 20-somethings, right? Like the Gen Zers, the young people,
students.
There we go. And they're grad students. They were grad students at the end of their, time at U of M. So they're about to graduate. They loved it. They really loved it. Like he was inspiring to that group.
Arthur Jemison. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so someone else asked me.
He's gifted.
He's very gifted.
Yeah.
Someone was putting together a conference and asked me about Arthur. Like, can he inspire? And I'm like,
have you met him?
Like, absolutely. But it's going to be in a very
personal way.
Personable, quiet.
Yeah.
He's not like
I
big personality.
I say the same thing about Garland Gilchrist.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Garland, he can do television, but his charisma and his charm don't come off on television. Mm-hmm. You feel his charisma
in person
and his charm when you experience
That's
him.
right.
It's the same thing for Arthur Jemison.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think about what Garland Gilchrist is going to do next?
I am not sure.
Okay.
And people keep asking me because I know Garland, and we haven't had that conversation.
I had it with him a while ago, but I don't know if that. And number one, I don't have permission to talk about what we talked about. But
and things are changing in the ecosystem really fast.
Things are changing really quickly.
It's not clear where everyone will land in 2025.
And Sarah, a founder, editor in chief at Outlier, Sarah Alvarez just interviewed him last week because I couldn't. Mm-hmm. She's like, "You're friends. You can't interview him." I'm like,
that makes sense.
It makes sense, but I've interviewed him still, and I don't pull punches. I ask questions. All right, this is great. Is there anything you're thinking about?
City council as well, right? So there are, city council members who are beginning to fundraise and thinking about what that council will look like with whoever the new mayor is. In some ways, I'm more concerned about that, honestly. Like the mayor will be whoever they will be. But we need a council who understands the power of council and can push back on whoever that mayor is.
So does the current council understand that?
No.
Okay.
They don't. Let me not say that. Some of them do, right? But there's not enough of them who do to actually create the policies that we need to push back on what this administration does or any future administration, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an example.
I mean, because Duggan really took advantage of this strong mayor form of government.
Oh, absolutely. He understands how it works.
Yes.
And use it to his advantage. we have a newish city council, right? People are still learning the ropes, but they have annual retreats. And what I have seen from those annual retreats is they have not been able to get a policy agenda together. And this is year 3? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you have to have enough of them coalesce around ideas to be able to form some sort of front against what any mayor wants to do. So I haven't seen them do that successfully. They're a very friendly body towards the mayor.
Or a good, healthy dialogue.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to always be a front.
No, but
it's a check. It should remain a check.
Yeah.
And right now they don't really be checking the majority of it.
Part of it is the district system, which I'm still a fan of, but I think
But it fragments the power.
It fragments the power in a way. If you as city council member only think that your duty is to your district and not to the full city. And I think different council members think about that differently. Some think, yes, I have to do things for my district, but I still represent all of the city.
Is there
of Detroit.
a job description for a city council person?
It's in the charter, but it's not. It could be more detailed.
Okay.
Yeah.
When will we have the opportunity to reopen the charter?
Oh, it's in 2030 something.
In 2030?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Chase Cantrell, it's always a blast getting your hot political take. It was fun, right?
Yeah.
We went really quickly.
Yep.
We went really quickly. Listen, if you have topics that you want discussed on Authentically Detroit, you can hit us up on our socials at Authentically Detroit on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or you can email us at authenticallydetroit@gmail.com. It is time for shout outs. I'll go first. I'll give you a minute to think about your shout. Shout out to Dr. Aaron Perry, who's the new editor-in-chief of Outlier Media. Shout out to Eddie Carrington and the ribbon cutting at The Ribbon.
So proud of
in
him.
my old hood over there on East Warren and Caju. Eddie has been steeped over there from start to finish, wanting to do it right, listening, sometimes taking the licking.
Yep. As a developer should.
And, held firm while making sure that residents also had ownership of that. So congratulations, Eddie Carrington. Chase Cantrell. Oh, and shout out to my co-host, Donna Givens-Davidson, who's in Baltimore.
Shout out to Donna.
Having big fun. All right, Chase.
All right. Shout out to Carlita Williams, who is the founder of Mockery Zero Proof. So she is opening up a mocktail bottle shop on the northwest side of the city, 6 Mile in Livernois. And, she is an amazing tenant in the space that I have a project that I developed. But she's just a wonderful spirit, great energy. She is hitting the ground running. Can't wait for her grand opening, which will happen around Thanksgiving, a little bit after Thanksgiving. And also, shout out to Mamba, the owner of Baobab Fair, who's doing amazing things. So Baobab Fair, he has Waka. He is opening a new spot on East Warren.
Down the street from Eddie Carrington's
Down the street,
spot.
lots of stuff happening on East Warren, right? We need to bring some of that energy to 6 Mile.
Let's figure out East Warren first.
No. We having conversations about 6 Mile too. No, we having conversations. But he reminds me that anything is possible in Detroit. Had a conversation with him earlier, and just hearing all of his stories despite challenges, it's just like, this is what we want people to do, to dream big and to just put their dreams into reality.
Yeah. Shout out to Mama. We love him.
Yes.
All right, everybody. We thank you so much for listening. And until next time, love on somebody and allow yourself to be loved on.